Experience pure Italian goodness, the real test of Italy.
Italian lifestyle, Italian design, Italian culture in London. This is The Italian Factor, and I am Gabriella, your host, joining you in this journey of Made in Italy.
Italian style.
Quite fashionable.
Very chic.
Buongiorno. Italian people as being quite friendly, quite outgoing.
They have a slower pace of life.
Grazie, tutto bene.
It is an amazing country.
I think Italian food is really easy on the palate.
Italians are definitely beautiful, oh for sure.
The street filled with tomatoes, midday, summer, light is half like a tomato, its juice runs through the streets, wrote Pablo Neruda about tomatoes, today's protagonists. And to talk about our protagonist, the tomato, I have invited James Amer, that is a food importer. Hello, James. James, how can we recognize good chopped tomatoes?
So there's three things that we need to look for to recognise a good quality product. The first of those is the smell. A good quality product will have a very fragrant smell and will really smell like proper fresh tomatoes, as this product does. The second thing to look out for, and Lutti finely chopped tomatoes is a perfect example here, is the colour. So the colour here is a really bright, perfect red colour. Other products you might see yellow or green or orange, and that would mean that the tomatoes have been picked before they were fully ripe. And sometimes it can be too dark and too brown almost, and that means that the product has been cooked too much in the process, and so it loses its colour and its flavour. The third thing, of course, is the taste. And when you taste this product, you'll bring back the memories of summertime in Italy.
Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to introduce you to the one and only, the extraordinarily tasty, the extremely versatile, king of the vegetables or fruit, the tomato. And here are fun facts about them. The tomato was one of the first foods to be imported from the Americas, but at first it wasn't well received. They used to think it was bad for you, even deadly. Then eventually things changed and it soon became the central element to the Italian diet. According to Luciano da Crescenzo, Neapolitan author and philosopher, the discovery of the tomato represents in the history of food what the French Revolution was to the development of a social conscience. As always, the Italians lack any sense of moderation. Tomatoes were seen as a sexy fruit for a long time. That's right, you heard me correctly, sexy. For alchemists in the 15 and 1600s, it was often used as the main ingredient in many aphrodisiac recipes. In our times, the writer Stuart Lee Allen describes the tomato as soft, delicious, inviting the unlucky person to sink their teeth into its scarlet skin and sensual flesh. Hey honey, fancy a tomato? Speaking of love, the relationship between Italians and tomatoes is one of the strongest and happiest ever seen on the face of the planet. Luciano da Crescenzo, author of what we were talking about earlier, believes that Italian cuisine is a red light cuisine for the illuminating presence of tomatoes on the shelf, a magnificent product of nature. Move over, Romeo and Juliet. This is true love. Tomato is also the main ingredient in my favourite cocktail, the Bloody Mary, which probably takes its name from Queen Mary I of England. In it you've got vodka, tomato juice, Worcester sauce, lemon juice, Tabasco, and of course a bit of salt and some pepper. I find it extraordinary.
How much do the British know about food raw materials, the basic natural ingredients?
Certainly much more than they used to. I think people are now much more conscious about what they're putting in their bodies. They examine the ingredients on the supermarket shelves much more closely, and they have a better understanding of what balance of proteins and carbohydrates they need to lead a healthy lifestyle.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Strictly Come Testing. I'm your host, Ivan Berry, and I'm going to be talking to some unlucky Londoners about sports cars. Just kidding, tomatoes. Some conspirators wanted to kill Abraham Lincoln with tomatoes.
Sounds kind of false.
Well, that sounds false.
No, that's false.
I don't know, but I would say true. Throwing at them?
Well, you could have overdosed on vitamin C.
True. Back when tomatoes were thought to be harmful, political opponents of the American president persuaded the chef of the White House to prepare a dish primarily made of tomatoes in order to poison him. The incident actually managed to make tomatoes even more popular because Lincoln became an avid fan. Tomatoes are widely used in cosmetics.
Yeah, I think that's true.
How they would use it?
It's organic substance to use in different kind of products, I guess.
I think that's false.
False. Probably. I don't know.
Yeah, let's say true.
I would imagine they are, yeah.
True, they keep the skin healthy because they are rich in lycopene and antioxidants, which helps protect the skin from UV rays and keeps the wrinkles away. I mean, look at me. Do I look like I ate enough tomatoes? You think I should eat more? Wow. Tomatoes are a fruit, not a vegetable.
Tomatoes are a fruit.
For me, they're a vegetable.
It's a fruit, I think, yeah.
Is it the seeds thing? Is it the seeds rather than a...
Tomatoes are a fruit.
It's a fruit.
They're a fruit.
Well, true and false at the same time. In botanic terms, a fruit contains seeds, like a tomato does. But in the kitchen, it's defined as a vegetable. The problem is actually cultural. Fruit and veg is defined very differently in the kitchen and garden. Cucumbers, peas, squash, peppers and aubergine are also all fruit because they're grown from flowers and they have seeds. Have I confused you enough yet? There is no such thing as black tomatoes.
That's false.
True.
That's false. We just saw them on Borough Market, I guess.
True.
There is, yeah.
False. Tomatoes are red, orange, yellow, green and even black. They were created in some Italian universities, and it's not GM, it's actually a cross between some existing seeds, and they're particularly high in antioxidants. So in other words, they're great for you.
How do you think British perception of food has changed over the last 10 years, and how is their consumption changed?
So I think the British consumption's changed quite a lot in the last decade or so. We still like our traditional British food, but we're now much more outward looking when it comes to cuisine. So the influence of celebrity chefs with their TV shows, glossy magazines with lots of inspirational ideas, and foreign travel, of course, is another thing that's really helped us broaden our horizons. So we're much more willing to experiment in the kitchen and to try more things from scratch rather than relying on ready meals and things like that.
What role has TV played in this?
I think cookery shows on TV over the last few years have followed three broadly similar themes over the years. The first of those is convenience, so teaching people how to make meals quickly and easily because we all lead very busy lifestyles. The second would be health, showing people how they can eat more healthily and understanding what exactly it is we're putting into our bodies. And the third one is getting good value for money. And I think Mutti really touches on all of these things. They're very convenient products that we know that they're good for you. So yeah.
Hi Ivan.
Hey, how you doing, all right?
Very good, thanks. Yourself?
Very good, thank you. You're the chef here at Sephora Vera.
I'm the chef.
My girlfriend thinks I'm a terrible cook. She thinks I have no skills in the kitchen. So I want to prove her wrong. I want to throw her with some skills.
I'm going to teach you today how to make an authentic Italian
An
pizza.
authentic Italian pizza.
Authentic.
Fantastic.
First step is to stretch the dough. Now let me show you something very special. We are ready now for the second step, which is to top the pizza.
Right.
So let's start with the tomato. Do you know where Mutti polpa are coming from?
No, I
It's
don't.
coming from Italy, from the region of Emilia-Romagna.
Okay.
So can you see that the red intense color.
Yeah, it's
and if you're
bright
going to
red.
smell it, you see it's very
Really, yeah, you can really smell that.
fantastic. You can feel like the tomato as it's fresh. We put 1 spoon and a little bit of tomato and then spread it all around. Little bit bigger. And then we'll take away, sorry, this is your pizza.
Is this it?
Yeah.
Oh, it's a masterpiece. I'm so proud.
That is your pizza.
Look at that.
And this is my pizza.
How about that?
Experience pure Italian goodness, the real test of Italy. Experience pure Italian goodness, the real test of Italy.
Italian tomato sauce.
Red,
Rich in flavor.
Tangy,
More tasty.
bit spicy.
Slightly sweet.
Red,
Tin tomatoes, sun-dried tomatoes, plum tomatoes, Italian tomatoes. I just love them.
So Antonio, you are an importer of fine foods. Correct. And you'll only import mutti when it comes to tomatoes. Why's that?
We feel that as far as 100% Italian tomatoes go, Mutti is by far the best quality.
Okay. And you're telling me the best way now that I've got to taste this is as is. Like I'm
It's
not
the
allowed
only
to
way.
get a nice big moan.
This is the Mutti polpa.
Oh, that's lovely. That's really really sweet.
I have to tell you that it's a secret recipe of Mutti's, and it's the oldest recipe from 1971. So this is basically sourced from farms within 100 miles radius of the Mutti factory. So they're approved farmers, so the quality's there. They'll never pick before they're ripe, and certainly not after. They'll pick just when it's right. And once they're ripe, they'll take them back to their factory, chop them very, very finely, and then they're straight away packaged to really keep the characteristics, colour and the quality of the tomatoes. This is the Mutti peeled tomato, which is a tomato cultivated in the south of Italy.
Okay.
As you can see, it's the tomato which has undergone a very, very gentle process with steam, which allows Mutti to remove the skin from the tomato. Keeps the tomato as it is, obviously almost as it was picked, without any blemishes or any marks, or it keeps it almost perfect. And obviously, as it is just tomato, it's used in dishes with a longer cooking time, so casseroles, stews.
Right.
And also, a lot of top chefs use the tomato as almost a decoration, as it looks amazing. This product here is a passata, which is somewhere in between a juice and a puree. As you can see, it's a very velvety, thick, smooth product. Again, 100% Italian tomatoes, but sieved, so they've taken any skin and any seeds away that would add to any bitterness to the product.
Okay, well, cheers.
Cheers.
Oh, that's lovely. I quite want another shot.
You'll be careful you're driving, aren't you?
Oh, that's true, I'm driving.
How can we educate to appreciate what is genuine, good and healthy?
Education from a young age is obviously very important to help children understand what is and isn't healthy, and making sure that they have access to healthy options when they're at school. In the supermarkets as well, there's a responsibility to make sure that we're not just promoting unhealthy food, and that parents can do the best for their families. And then there's also a responsibility for the manufacturers. For example, with Mutti, we like to concentrate on the field to fork story. to show what a clean end product we have by the strict and rigorous production process that ensures that the tomatoes are as fresh and as healthy as possible, just like consuming fresh tomatoes.
Our job is a very ancient and traditional one. We make the harvest when the tomatoes are ripe, and during the month of August we bring it very quickly into the factory, and in a few hours we put them in tins, in jars, just to preserve in the most simplest way the flavor of the ripened tomatoes of Italy. And we do it just for 2 months in a year. Each single track, each single carrot that enter into the factory, we take a sample of it of approximately 20 kilos, and we make more than 20 kind of different analyses. And each of them give a score, and of course you have a complete scorecard of each single chariot or tracks. And at the end of the years, you will have for each single farmer his position in a list. So the first 40 farmers receive an extra bonus that is given by the quantity that it delivers to us by an extra price. And to the first one, he received the Pomodorino d'Oro, who is really the recognition that has been the better producers for us. The vision of Mutti today is first, a constant development in terms of quality. Second is the environment. So how to maintain productivity, but increasing year by year the respect with nature. Let's take as example that since 1999, all our production is at integrated feed. The last point is again a project of biodiversity, so the possibility of a major integration between the environment and our production.
And I imagine there are many good chopped tomatoes out there, but why do you think Mutti is the best?
So, in my opinion, Mutti is the best because of the special production techniques that they used. In 1971, they developed a unique process, which does remain a secret to this day, but it just means that they have a very good quality, consistent product. Their relationships with the farmers, the production process, it's all very meticulous, and they're constantly looking to improve their standards.
So, James, Mutti in 3 words.
In 3 words, well, we've spoken quite a lot, so I'll try and condense it. I would say taste, quality, and authenticity.
Good.
Mutti started his history in tomatoes at the end of the 19th century, so I'm now the 4th generation. We have 2 different kinds of tomatoes that are cultivated in Italy. The one in the north is the round tomatoes, the classical round of Parma, while in the south we have the long tomatoes, so the tomato Pugliese, which is very classical from Naples exactly. And that gives origins into different product and different cuisine. A more rich in taste cuisine in the northern part, and a more simple and very linked to the shape also of the tomato itself in the southern part of Italy. Mutti is located in Parma, and Parma from the beginning has been a center for the transformation of tomatoes with Naples. So these 2 apical centers has been really the core of this industry for a microclimate which is very peculiar and gives a different kind of quality at 2 different kinds of tomatoes. The values of Mutti are different, but the basic one is quality. Mutti is a very growing company, even if the sector, our sector, is slightly declining. It's growing in Italy, where we are leaders since close to 10 years ago, and we are growing in more than 80 countries around the world. And the beautiful thing is that in all these countries we are growing, even if we do not support in any way. It's just the product who tells himself about its quality. So the word of mouth is really our main marketing pillar. The beautiful thing is that we are still growing, even in a country in which the crisis is existing since a long time. And the big reason is that with a few cents you get a much better quality, and the housewife recognizes it very clearly and simply.
James, we are coming to the end of our talk, but before we say goodbye, we usually carry out a little test to see how Italian our guests really are. Do you feel Italian?
I feel myself becoming more and more Italian as this interview's gone on, Gabriella.
By eating tomato soup every day?
Absolutely. Talking about tomatoes and eating tomatoes, it's great.
So, if you're ready, we begin. You have to repeat a tongue twister after me. It's very difficult also for an Italian, so I will pronounce it very slowly and you repeat it after me. A che serve che la serva? A che serve che la serva?
Che la serva.
Si conservi?
Si conservi.
La conserva.
La conserva.
Se la serva.
Se la serva.
Quando serve.
Quando serve.
Non si serve.
Non si serve.
Di conserva.
Di conserva.
Now I translate. What use is it for the servant to store the preserved food if the servant doesn't use the preserved food when it's needed? Generally speaking, what do you think the Italian factor is?
I'd say the Italian factor is a passion for tradition, for family, for quality, and to enjoy the finer things in life.
Very, very good. So thank you, James.
Thank you.
And as for us, there is still lots to discover about the best of Italian style in London. And remember, if you don't know what makes something special, it's the Italian factor. See you soon. Ciao.
A che serve che la serva, si conservi la conserva, se la serva, quando serve, non si serve, di conserva. Now it's your turn.
E chi serve, chi serve.
Di conversi la conversa.
A ce serve, ce la serve.
A che serve, ce la serva.
A che serve che la serva?
Si conservi.
Come si lava.
Se la serva quando serve.
Se la serve quando serve non.
Quando serve.
Non si serve.
Non si serve di conserva.
Di conserva.
Experience pure Italian goodness, the real test of Italy.